Well, hey there, friend. Welcome back to the Kingdom Business Podcast, where faith finally meets real strategy to launch the online business that God gave you. I'm your host, Erica Pyle. I am a Christian business coach and online launch strategist, and we are stepping into episode 6, my friend, of the Kingdom Business Podcast. So if you've been with me for a little while, welcome back. I'm so glad that you're back. But if you were with me the last time, you know that I had told you what we were going to be talking about today. So today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about your ultimate offer. So we talked about mindset the last 2 weeks. And so if you missed that, I want to encourage you, go back and listen, because it spoke to what should your mindset be as an online entrepreneur who's a believer? Like, how do you get your mindset straight to be someone who's kingdom, but also an online entrepreneur? And then we talked about biblical money mindset. So we talked about how should we be thinking about money, making money in our business and stuff like that. So those were 2 really great episodes that if you missed them, I want to encourage you, go back and have a look. If you are here watching live, definitely jump into the comments and let me know that you're here. I love doing this kind of stuff in an interactive format. You know, I talk about making this podcast to be more of a done with you experience. And I know that's odd when you think about podcasts, especially if you're someone who's listening on audio right now. You might be like, how do you do a done with you? There's no way. It's like everything is coming in one direction. It's one-way traffic. But the reality is, if you join me when I am recording live on YouTube on Thursdays at 3 p.m., which is what's happening right now, then we can have an exchange because you can jump into the comments. And then if you're listening on the audio or if you're watching the replay and I'm not here, then join me on my Instagram page. I'm at Erica Pyle, so simple. And just jump into my DMs and comment Kingdom Business Podcast and let me know that you're a listener. And if that's the case, then we can start the conversation there, because everything that I talk about here on the podcast, I'm talking about on my Instagram page as well. So there is a way for us to interact. Now, like I said, today we're talking about offers. And here's the thing that I need you to know. Even if the offer that you have or that you're thinking about is a God-given idea, okay, we know the difference between a good idea and a God idea, right? Like, there are many of us in Kingdom Business that we've been doing our life, walking through life, and we're sitting with the Lord one day and he drops this idea into our mind. And that's a God idea, right? And we might be sitting there thinking like, I don't have what it takes to do that, or I need X, Y, and Z before I could do that, or someone else has got to believe in me before I can do that, or I need skill sets, whatever the case may be, right? So we're running through the filter. But the reality is we know when God calls us to something. And so when you get that idea and God says, I want you to do this kind of a business and I want you to offer this kind of a service or a product, that very much, it's a God idea. But what you do with that God idea becomes super important. It's something called stewarding. And I've talked about it in previous podcast episodes. And so go have a listen to that. But specifically out of the parable of the talents, there are concepts straight out of the Bible, Jesus telling the story of what it looks like to be a good steward. And one of the things that it takes to be a really good steward is faithfulness. And that means believing God at his word. You know, the guy who got the 1 talent and wound up being called wicked and getting thrown out to the place where there was gnashing of teeth, like, there had to have been a time when the master told him what was expected of him and when the master taught him how to steward those funds. And it's really clear from, the master's feedback in that parable that he just didn't do what the master told him to do. He had been taught, the expectation had been set, and there was just a lack of faithfulness. And so I want you to understand that even if you need to learn skill sets, even if you're missing some kind of a resource or a strategy or framework, it's okay that you have this God idea, but now the next step is to steward well. So if you know that you're missing out on a skill set or you're missing out on a system, a framework, if you're missing out on something and you need to get it, then sister, get it. And this is a great place to be trained up, to be equipped, to be empowered, to do that kind of kingdom business, to be a good steward, because that's my heart. My heart is to encourage, equip, and empower you to be able to launch that kingdom business online and see its scale and bring glory to God and good to the people that God's called you to serve. And so it's no different with offers. So if you have this offer, this idea for an offer, or maybe you have an offer, but you're not seeing sales, like you're not actually seeing it, translate into sales. A lot of the time it's very specifically, there are these three things that I see that are causing this to happen to people who are like, Erica, I know God called me to this business. I know he told me to do this. I know that this is the service or the product that he wants me to offer. And yet I'm not seeing any sales. Now, here's the thing. Can we just be honest? Many of us, when we say this, we haven't actually done anything to put that offer out. It's like, oh, I want to do this. Well, wanting to do it and doing it, two different things. I need you to understand that like obedience goes beyond the intention and the desire. Just because you want to be obedient doesn't make you obedient. Just because you plan to be obedient doesn't make you obedient. Obedience makes you obedient. So we have to make sure that when we're thinking about like, I have this offer and I'm not making any sales or I'm not making consistent sales, one of my first questions is going to be, well, did you put it out there? And you might be like, well, I've been talking about this idea on social media. I've been telling my friends and my family. It's just that no one wants it. You're telling me that you talked about an idea and no one said to you, hey, can you make that into a real offer so that I can buy it? And that's what you're justifying the fact that you haven't made any sales on? Because that's wild. That's very codependent. If God called you to do a business, if he called you to offer something, then it's to you. It's your responsibility to do all the steps that are necessary for you to get that offer out into the world so that there's an actual invitation to your ideal customer to come in and connect with that offer. And if you've not done that yet, then that is the place that this episode today is going to be so empowering to you. Because I think for many of us, that's where we're at. We're like, I have this idea. I've kind of I've thrown it out there. Erica, I've thrown it out there and no one's responding. Well, if they don't have a place where they can click a button and give you their credit card information or their debit card information, like that's not a real offer. You've got to have a place where you are putting it out there and someone can meet you there. And the other thing is, if all you're doing is talking to your friends and family, do you understand that the statistic shows that on average, less than 20% of your customer base is going to come from your warm market that are your friends and family? Like, let's get clear on this. I spent many years in social selling and in network marketing. And one thing that you were taught in the old days in network marketing is to absolutely go after your warm market, your friends and family, make your list of 100. Well, when I started doing real training on marketing and online business development, and for real businesses, like businesses that actually made it and were doing big business, what I found out is that none of those businesses are relying on their friends and family to get their business off the ground. Because traditionally, less than 20% of your ideal customers are going to be found in your friends and family base. It's just not what it is. Like, your friends and family are your friends and family. The thing that you do to serve a people group, it's like they're out there. There's so many people out there that need what you have to offer, but you're going to have to get out there. You're going to have to put it out there and find those people. And so I just find it so interesting when we're like, oh, but I've tried. And I'm like, who have you talked to? Well, my friends and family. Well, for what I do, I train up kingdom business entrepreneurs, online business entrepreneurs, women specifically. Okay. And even more than that, ambitious, multi-passionate Christian women who are go-getters. They want to be doing all the things. They want to be a godly daughter, a godly wife, a godly mother, a godly sister friend, and a godly woman of purpose in the entrepreneurial space. So they want to do it all. They want to have it all. They want to do it all. And they want to do it all without overwhelm. That is the very specific niche, the very specific group of women that I serve. And can I tell you something? There are many people in my close friends and family group that might tick the box on one or two of those things, maybe three of them. But for all of those, and that's who I serve the best, I had to go out there. I had to get out on the internet and I had to put my sound out there and find the people that needed me. And can I tell you something? I'm so glad that I did that, because now the people that are coming to me and I'm coaching, they are the people that I am best designed to serve. And instead of like working with people that are my friends and my family and just giving me their business because they just want to be nice to me and they just want to support my business. Listen, you don't need friends and family to support your business. God is supporting your business first and foremost because he gave you the idea and he told you to go. That'd be like Abraham saying, well, I'll go to the place that you'll show me when my friends and family decide that they're going to put a GoFundMe together and finance me to go do it. That would be disobedience. So why do we think it's okay for us to keep on thinking like, oh, I'll go when my friends and my family support me? Can I tell you something? That's insecurity. And that's actually being people pleasing. Because what you're doing is you're waiting on the people that make you feel safe to tell you that what you're doing is good to do. And you really need some Acts 5:29 right about now. We're going to obey what God says and not men. So you've really got to get that in your being. Because until you understand that, any offer that you're creating, you're lying to yourself. If you're like, oh, I've put the offer out there and I'm just not getting any bites. It's like, where are you doing it? So I just want that mindset to sit with you for a second, because when I start to tell you the top 3 reasons why you might have an offer, but you're still not seeing sales and definitely not consistent sales, those 3 reasons, you're going to have the framework and the understanding that if you keep on trying to bang away at your warm market, your friends and family circle, that's the biggest problem that you have. If you're called to do a business online by God, I can guarantee you he wasn't expecting that your ideal customer is just going to come from your friends and family. Are we settled? Are we good? All right. So let's move into it. What are the 3 reasons why you're actually not getting sales on that offer? What do you think? So the first one is, and you're not going to understand this just yet, but let me tell you what it is. It's not passing the offer grid test. You're like, Erica, what's the offer grid test? Can I show you? This is the offer grid test. Now this, you can find this, you can go to ericapyle.com/offer grid, ericapyle.com/offer grid. And you can download it for free. I'll send it to your email, okay? And you'll get it. And it's not anything new on the front, really, or on the back, but it's a great place for you to do your action step that I'm going to give you at the end of today's episode. But what this clarity grid does, this is your ultimate offer clarity grid. What it does is it asks you to take your offer and run it through 4 quadrants as a filter to see, like, is this offer going to even be, is it set up to be something that could sell? Now, you might be like, Erica, God gave me this idea. Yes, but now you have to take that idea and you have to steward it through this grid. Why? Why, Erica? Why do I have to steward it through your grid? It's not my grid. I set the grid up and put it in teal and purple for you. Well, actually, my business partner, Kat, did. And she picked the colors. Aren't they pretty? I love them. But the four parts of the grid, the 4 quadrants, these are actually pretty standard when you go through marketing training and understand what makes up a good offer. Okay? And chances are that if God gave you this idea, chances are really good that it's going to pass this grid test. But you, in your brain, have to see how it passes the 4 quadrant test. Okay? So it has to pass the offer grid. So let's talk about what's in the offer grid. Okay? Number 1, it's 4 questions. Okay, number 1, does this come easy to you? Does delivering on this offer come easy to you? Are you good at it? I know. It's like, what? But seriously, that is the first thing that you need to ask yourself is like, is delivering on this offer, does this feel easy for me? Does it feel like it's in my wheelhouse? Does it feel like it's in my area of expertise? Does it make me feel like I'm going to live? Because if it's something that you're not good at, if it's something that it feels like you're dying when you're doing it, that ain't it, sis. Your best offer is going to be the offer that makes you come alive. Like when I am serving my coaching clients and I'm helping them to finally get launched in the online space, I mean, like my students, my clients will tell you, I move to tears sometimes. Like the Holy Spirit will just overtake me with gratitude and just joy. And I'm like, yes, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. And it doesn't just happen for coaches and course creators. It can happen. You could be doing physical products. Like I have a client who is in the home goods business, and it's specifically kingdom, like Christian home goods, and specifically catered to kids. And she has this whole concept around why she's selling the products that she's selling. And she's the artisan who's actually creating and crafting these things. And the first offer that she has is for a very specific home good, and it has a whole story around it. And when I think about it, it's like, oh my goodness, she is like, it brings her life to think about what she's offering. And she's good at it. And she's just like, it's the thing that like makes her come alive. And so I'm like, yes, this can work no matter if you're in some kind of like digital products business or physical products business, services. It doesn't matter. The question is, are you good at it? Does it make you feel alive when you do it, right? Does it come easy to you? Or is it just, so it's not like it's burning you out and stealing from you, okay? That's number one. Number two, is it something you love to do? Because that really comes down to that idea of, is it giving you life? If you every morning wake up and you think to yourself, oh my gosh, I have to go deliver on that offer, you're dying inside. That ain't it, sister. That is not it. You've got to fashion this offer into a vehicle, like the offer itself is the vehicle, that is something that you love to do. And like I said, I get on my calls with my girls and I am just, it doesn't matter what kind of a day I'm having. It doesn't matter what just happened. I just lock in and within 5 minutes, I'm like, this is what I was born to do. And that can be true no matter what sort of an offer, whether it's digital products, physical products, services. You'll know whether it gives you life or not. It's something that you love to do. Okay, those are the first two. Third one is there a people group that needs it or desires it greatly? Is there a need or a great desire for this thing? And the reason why I say need or desire is because, when we think about, let's say someone is a travel agent, okay, and they're good at it and they love to do it. They're good at being a travel agent. They love to be a travel agent. Well, I don't know if there's necessarily a pain point that people are going to identify in themselves where they go, you know what I need? I need a vacation and I need a travel agent to help me. But they're going to sense that as a desire, a great desire. But they're not going to know how to do it. So their pain point that they're not going to necessarily like identify with, they're going to identify more with the desire to go on the vacation. And then secondarily, and maybe subconsciously, they're going to think, I don't know how to organize all those details. I wouldn't even know how to pick a place to stay in XYZ country. I'm looking for deals. I want someone who has tips and tricks. And those are all problem points that they have. So you, in effect, as that travel agent, you are resolving a pain point or a problem for them. It's just that they may not see it like that. They may see it as a deep desire. So when you read that, what do people need badly? Well, it could be either a desire or it could be a pain point that needs resolving. Does that make sense? So there's got to be a demand for it. If there's no demand for it, and where this gets tricky is like, that you're good at something and you would really like to offer something. And so you just make a decision about what you think people want. And then you go out and you offer it and no one's biting. And it's like, I'm good at this. I know that God gave this to me so that I could do it. And many years ago, one of my coaches, she said this thing to me when I was working through this offer grid. She was like, listen, Erica, you're not understanding something. She said, sell them what they want, give them what they need. I was like, I'm a Christian. I cannot do that. She's like, yeah, I'm a Christian too. You're not hearing me. Give them what they want. Sell them what they want, give them what they need. Once they're in your world and you've given them what they want of what you can do, because you've sold it to them, then you can give them what they need, and that can be part of the nurture pathway so that they continue on your offer pathway with you. Okay? So what I'm saying to you is, if what you want to give them is somewhere further along down the road, like they have to have a revelation or they have to have some kind of healing or some kind of aha moment before they can even see that they want that thing or need that thing, then you would do well to go back to this grid and say, do my people know that they actually need this? Because if your person is not problem aware, you are done. You're done. And in many cases, if they're not solution aware and you're not able to show why you are a better solution for the problem they know they have and the solution they're looking for, then you're dead in the water. So you've got to at least start with, is this a need that my people have? And then the last one, number 4 is, will they pay for it? Will they pay for it? will they pay for it? Now, here's the thing. If you have that thing in you that's like, oh, it's not worth it, I shouldn't expect to be paid that much for it, then sister, that's your problem, okay? But the way you answer this question and you determine really are people willing to pay for it is you go do market research. Go out on the internet and find people who are doing that thing that you're looking to do, that you love to do, that you're good at, and that you think people need. Go find people out on the internet that are doing that. And go see if people are paying for it. Go see how much they're paying for it, because that's a good indicator of whether people are going to pay for it or not. Not how you feel. Not how you feel. We don't do none of this by feels. Stop it. Stop with the feels. Feelings are such bad leaders. There's nothing wrong with feelings. God gave us feelings in that sense, but you better be the master of them. You know, your belief is the strongest direction. And so when we let our feelings get in the way, do you know how many times feelings take us off of our faith? Do you know how many times feelings take us out of obedience? So stop with that. Miss me with that. And I'm praying that it'll miss you. Because the reality is what you feel about whether something could make money or not is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Do the research. Go out there and see other people who are doing what you want to do and what you want to offer, and see if they're getting paid. That's the deal. And that's how you get things through the offer grid. If that offer, as you're currently experiencing it in your mind, is not running through the offer grid, then my friend, you've got to rethink it. Sit with the Lord, have a pray, do the research, ask yourself the hard question. You know, one of the hardest questions I had to ask myself is, am I trying to sell something that they don't want yet? And it was hard for me because I was like, this is a mindset issue. They need to be fixed in their mindset. And my coach was like, yeah, Erica, but first they want to make money. Before they are willing to sit with you and listen to you pontificate about what their mindset issue could be, you have to prove to them that you're good at what you do. So show them how to make money. Solve a problem for them first that they actually know they have. And let's get that resolved. And then when they trust you, then you can do that extra step of nurturing and be like, let's talk about your mindset. And then sell them into a membership, because now they trust you and they're like, oh, I want to stick with you. I want to talk about this all the time with you. Do you get it? So that's why it's important that you've got to get through this offer grid. So go to ericapyle.com/offer grid and download this offer grid. Now there is a back page, but I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Give me a moment, okay? Because that's number one reason why your offer's not selling, is because it's not passing the 4-quadrant offer grid. So that's step one, okay? Number two reason why your offer is not selling, or it's not selling consistently. You do not have a compelling transformation promise. So too often when God gives us this idea of what he wants, when he says, look, I've made you to do this, all we're focused on is, God told me to do this, I have to do this. But you need to understand that a business, when you sell, selling is serving in the kingdom. So selling in a business, in a kingdom business, is how we serve. Hear me again. In a kingdom business, selling is how you serve. I'm going to say it again. In a kingdom business, selling is how you serve. Someone put it into the comments. In a kingdom business, selling is how you serve. In a business, you're supposed to make money. That's part of the definition of a business. So in a kingdom business, you're supposed to make money. How do you make money in a business? You sell. But if you know that the offer that God gave you is meant to serve people, which it is, that's the whole point of a kingdom business, okay? Then you need to understand that the way that you serve people is by selling to them. And if you have issues with selling to people, then you're going to have a problem serving the people God's called you to serve with this offer. I know. You're like, no, that's my problem. People shouldn't be paying for the fact that I'm too afraid to sell. People shouldn't be, affected by the fact that like I am having a hard time with this. Yeah, well, it is how it works. Like if you're not willing to stand up into the fullness of the identity and the responsibility and the role that God has given to you in Christ Jesus, then yeah, it might affect other people. And when it comes to being a kingdom business entrepreneur and having an offer to sell, if you are stuck in the mindset of selling and it's causing you to step back, you're never going to get to sell well. And then that selling is not going to translate into the serving that's needed. So you're going to have to deal with that mindset. Now, here's the thing. I was going to tell you about this in a second, but I've got something coming for you. And the bonus that I have for that, it's going to be a mindset audio that's going to help you with this. Getting into a sales mindset, selling is serving mindset. That's good, right? So I'll do it on that. And so I'll tell you about it in a second. But really, that second reason for why we fail to come into consistent sales with an offer is because we're not solid on a compelling transformation promise. So this kind of goes hand in hand with what I was talking about a minute ago about sell them what they want, give them what they need. So your transformation promise on anything, whether it's a digital course, whether it's a membership, whether it's a coaching program, whether it's a physical product, whether it's house cleaning or some kind of a service, accounting services, whatever, your offer always has to have a compelling transformation promise for your ideal customer. And you have to spell it out. So right now I'm in a program called the Jesus Girls Business Blueprint. I'm bringing people through it, and we're in the 8th week. And every single week I read them the exact same transformation promise. Every single week it's the same exact thing. And I'm going to read it to you because seriously, it's the same thing every single week. Let me see if I can find, you know what? It's in my slides. I don't think I have it right here. But it's literally I'm going to help you to build your business through ideal customer attraction, so getting leads, building out your offer, a leads to sales system, and building out your automations, your system in 8 weeks' time so that you can launch your business, finally launch your business. So the business blueprint really is based on this transformation promise that says that business that you've been trying to launch for the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Yes, I have clients that tell me that. They're like, I've been trying to launch this business for 3 years, for 4 years, for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. I'm like, what? And they're like, and I'm just at the end of my rope and I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm like, come into the business blueprint because in 8 weeks' time, I'm going to help you to get launched. And it is amazing that we're at 8 weeks. They've got an implementation next week to tie up the loose ends. And can I tell you, we're all there. We're all there. So do you see my transformation promise? And do you see how that translates into actually delivering? And then what's going to happen then? Well, then they're going to have testimonials. And they're going to give me feedback and say, look, you did what you said you would do for me. And then all during that 8 weeks, do you know that's what they wanted? Do you know what I wanted to give them? I wanted to give them an upgraded mindset so that they could believe they could do anything, so that they could believe that they could scale their business and that it could actually make a difference in their life, the lives of others, and it could fund kingdom projects so that they could go beyond anything they could have even hoped, thought, or imagined, because that's what God has for them. And guess what? Because I sold them on what they wanted and I crafted a transformational promise that aligned with that and I gave it to them, that's what they bought into, and I delivered. And that's what created the sales. Come on. Object lesson. And so the deal is, if you're not consistently selling, it's probably in your messaging. And there's a lot of people out there right now saying that, but I want to get very specific and I want to say to you, until you lock into how you help people and the transformation that you know your offer can bring to your ideal customer, and you articulate it properly in a way that they understand and lock onto, you're going to struggle with sales. But there are ways that you can once you know how to do that, it changes everything. Because what it mostly changes is your confidence level. So now when I go out and I do an ad for any of my programs, I'm like, I know I can help people. And where that started was when I articulated the transformation promise, people took me up on it because they bought in and I delivered. And I see over and over and over again. And eventually, that is the process that builds that confidence muscle in you that you know, I'm unstoppable in this. Not only did God give me this idea in this business, not only did he bring me these clients to serve, but I'm also delivering consistently. And that means that I can show others, look, we keep on doing this over and over and over again. So if you want that, then come join me. And that's where the consistency in the sales comes from. Come on. Are you with me? Are you with me? This is such good training. Come on. Get in the comments. Let me know if you're listening and what you think. So the 3 reasons that your offer isn't selling or selling consistently: number 1, it doesn't pass the offer grid test, right? We talked about that. And number 2, you don't have a compelling transformation promise. But what's number 3? What's the number 3 biggest reason for why we don't consistently sell? Can I tell you? It's real simple, really simple. You don't have a sales system to attract your ideal customer to you that leads them along your offer path and ultimately leads to the sale. And because of that, you are overwhelmed and you're thinking it's never going to happen. So you're like stuck in that spot, but maybe you don't even know how to articulate it. Maybe you have been in the place where you're like, Erica, I've been doing the freebies. I've been watching videos on YouTube. I'm trying to piece it together. I'm trying to understand, but isn't it as simple as just putting a link in my bio and talking about it on social media? No, it's not. Because unless you have been graced by God with that influencer situation where it's just like you talk about something and show something and all of a sudden everyone's asking you about it, like a lot of that isn't skill. Like, I know that they're like, I'm nothing special, you can do this too. But I don't know. I tried that for like 3 or 4 years and it didn't work out for me because that wasn't my path. My path was what God is showing me here that I'm teaching you, which is you've got to actually build a business that leads people along a path that leads them to what they need or who they want to become. And that's a transformation path. And, for that reason, I'm grateful that I'm not just a business coach. I'm also a pastor of a local church. I am a certified holistic health coach. Like, everything about my life is to lead people according to a nurturing path that's designed for them to get them from point A to point B, to get them from a place where they're like, I don't want to be here anymore. This hurts. This is not good, but I want to be here. And my secret sauce is to be able to be like, okay, I got you. Let's put together a plan and a process to get you from point A to point B. We can do this. Let's do it together. And how I do that is through strategy, through systems, and through support. Strategy, systems, and support. So, what I can tell you is you've got to have a strategy for how to sell online. If you're like, I don't know, I'm just like talking about it and hoping that someone will ask me for a link, you actually need a plan. You need a strategy that is going to get you there. And then you need to build a system out of that strategy. This is why so many people, they stay stuck and then they quit, is because they're like, Erica, I've done everything I can. I downloaded the idea. I've been researching. I've been, doing scroll research. I've been watching all the videos. I've been downloading all the freebies. I've even taken paid courses to, workshops to figure out like how to do this. But they don't give you a framework. And you need a framework that serves you. You need a system or a framework. So you need a strategy, first off. And it's like, okay, I want to sell this thing online. I'm not going to sell it to my friends and family. I'm going to find my ideal customers and I'm going to sell to them. And I'm going to have a transformation promise. I'm going to make sure my offer runs through the grid. Are you with me? Okay. And then it's like, okay, but I need a system. But then this is what happens. I'm not finding anyone who can help me. So the thing is, like, maybe you've gotten taken in by this idea of someone selling you an all-in-one platform, an all-in-one system. I was on one for almost 10 years. Up until this last year, I was on one. And the price was fine. I got grandfathered in with like this really great price. And so I was sticking to it. I was one of those people that was hanging on to the grandfathered price for dear life, right? And it had everything. It had my email service provider in it. It had landing pages. It was a place that I could host my course. I could do all kinds of things in it, okay? But here's the thing. It wasn't intuitive. And I'm not a techie person. So I would be like, okay, I think this is what I need to do. And then I was like, okay, but how do I do it? So then you go to the chatbot, right? And you're like, let me just type in here and see. And then it's like, they're not there. They're going to send you an email back within, 48 hours or something. But you're like, no. I need a place, like, can we get on Zoom or something? Like, is there a place where you can just show me what button to push? Can you just show me, like, I know you keep on telling me to just drag it here, like drag it, like you just drag it, but like I'm trying to drag it and it's not dragging. And furthermore, like if I do this and then I do that, like, is that right? Like, is this going to work? Like, where is it broken? Like I'm testing it out and it's not, right? And so you just keep chatbot, and email keeps on coming back, right? And meanwhile, it's like the chatbot's like, in the meantime, if you want to read our Q&A on this topic, blah. And it's like, I'm not even talking about that. And we're losing our ever-loving mind. So then we're going back to, let me just sell to my friends and family because those are the ones that make me feel safe. No. You need a strategy, a system, and support. That's what you need. That's why, my friend, I have been in the process over these last few weeks, and I've been telling you about it. I've been in the process of designing a new workshop for you. And it's going to run on November 11th, Tuesday, November 11th. It's called Ready for Sales. And in that workshop, I am going to show you a 3-step system. It's called the Kingdom Business Sales Acceleration System that's going to teach you how to do all this. So here's what needs to happen, because it's going to work best for someone who has their offer. Because we're not talking about offers in the workshop. I really want to help you get ready for sales. So what that means is that you got to do your action step today, because on the front of this page is the clarity grid, and you run it through those 4 quadrants. On the back is the clarity worksheet. This is where you give it a name, you give the transformation promise statement, you say who the offer is for, you give a basic description, and you decide on a price. And then look down here, it's like, does it run through the offer grid? And then look, here's my goal. This is the date that my offer is going to go live. So here's the deal. If you will do this, then sister, the workshop that we're putting together is for you. If you can come in with the idea of an offer put together on the offer grid. So remember, ericapyle.com/offer grid. That's where you get that free worksheet. Okay. So if you do that as your mini activation step, because that's what I'm asking you to do for today's episode, is go fill out the offer grid worksheet front and back. Okay. If you'll do that, then I'm telling you, November 11th, this workshop is for you. You should be running to register. Now, it's not open yet, but let me tell you, I'm not the only one who's teaching this. I'm going to introduce you to my secret weapon, my tech expert who has helped me to build out my system all behind the scenes all these years. Her name is Kat Surgeon. She is a specialist in building out this system, and she is a delight to work with, and she's a delight to learn from. All of my clients, all of the people that are in my Blueprint program, all the people who are in my membership, they all love Kat. They will sing the praises of Kat till the end of days, because Kat has this way of just making it simple. And remember how I told you, like, putting in the chat bot. She's the one who runs our Tech Tuesday calls, which are calls where when my clients are building out their sales system, their Kingdom Business Sales Acceleration System that I'm going to teach in this workshop. Well, she's actually going to teach it. I'm going to teach on market climate and why and how you can sell in this climate effectively with the sales system that we're going to teach you. She's going to walk you through the 3-step sales system, and then I'm going to come back and show you how to apply it in your own business. So this is going to be a mind-blowing workshop. Like I said, it's going to happen on November 11th. There's all kinds of bonuses and things that are going to happen. Like, it's a workshop week. We're going to put you into a group. You can ask questions. So much support. Okay. Can I just tell you? It's insane. $17 for this. $17. So if you'll just do your homework and get ready, then on November 11th, you can come in there and we're going to teach you the whole system for $17. Okay. So you want to get on the wait list for that, because the registration's going to open on Monday, this coming Monday. But if you go there right now, you'll be able to get on the wait list, and then we'll just send you the link as soon as it's ready to go. So when it opens. So go to Erica Pyle. No, this is a Jesus Girl Gang thing. Go to jesusgirlgang.com/ready for sales. Go to jesusgirlgang.com/ready for sales. Get on the wait list. On Monday, that registration is going to open up. And listen, sister, I expect you to be one of the first who jumps in. $17, and we're going to show you how to get your offer selling consistently. Like, come on. So I'm really excited. Are you going to jump in and get the offer grid? Because this is free. This piece is free. All this training that I just gave you, the podcast, as we keep on going towards it, I'm going to keep on bringing you value in this podcast as we do it together. You might be like, I don't want to spend $17 on a workshop. Okay, that's fine. If that's the speed you want to go, we'll keep on plodding along over here in the podcast. I'm in it. I'm here with you. So if that's the speed you want to go at, cool. But if you want to accelerate, if you want to actually be ready for sales in 2026, if you want to actually see that offer that's been on your heart for weeks and months and possibly years actually go live and sell consistently in the coming year, then you're going to want to get into this workshop. So go get on the wait list right now. Go to ericapyle.com/ready-for-sales. If it's after the Monday when it opens, that same link will bring you right to the registration page and you can just get signed up. How cool is that? Okay, that's what I have for you this week. I hope this was so helpful to you. Remember, come follow me over on Instagram at Erica Pyle and let's talk about this. Get in my DMs. Let me know. Let me know you're a listener over here. Subscribe to this podcast wherever you're watching or listening so that we can keep on going on the journey together. And it's going to be good, friend. I'm believing for you. I'm praying for you this week. All right? All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.